And this week, the state Senate is likely to vote on a proposed single-payer health care system. It's called the Healthy California Act, and it focuses on costs. Its co-author, Senator Ricardo Lara, says that Californians would be required to join this public health program, and insurance companies would be barred from offering coverages for services already included in the plan. The bill aims to provide health care coverage for 39 million Californians. And this happening at a proposed while the GOP health care plan is allegedly needs to be passed in order to help the federal deficit, but it would also leave millions of people uninsured. The state Senate vote on the bill comes even though lawmakers know they don't have the money to fund it. Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown if there's ever seen anything like this before.
Oh, sure, Phil. We have often made those kinds of steps. We just didn't admit that we wouldn't implement it until it was funded. We passed the measure, got it in place, set it up, and then hoped the budget trailer bill would come along and do whatever needs to be done to fund it. But we wanted to get the benefit. Of course.
$400 billion?
No, not that number. Believe me, I was never in the stratosphere when it came to projecting money. First of all, I never would have permitted you to say that it was $400 billion. I'd say whatever the cost really would be, and we hope that we can offset that cost by saving money in some other place and let it go at that.
Well, what's interesting about this is that now you've got Republicans in the state legislature who are saying, you know what, you're doing exactly what Democrats on Capitol Hill are complaining about. You're passing bills without a complete plan for how to deal with them when they move forward.
I'm surprised that you would say, because I didn't know there were any Republicans up there. I mean, the public doesn't know they're there. As a matter of fact, you can't show me a symbol, except maybe that woman over in Contra Costa County, Catherine, whatever her name is.
Catherine Baker.
Yeah, she's the only one. The only Republican identifiable anywhere in the state of California.
Sadly, there's more to California than the Bay Area. I know it's hard for us to believe sometimes.
Are you suggesting that I am limited to my perspective in the Bay Area? I have you know I roll all over the state.
You roll down to San Bernardino where
I do, in the middle of the night.
Well, actually, one thing that it seems like it might be the case is that some folks in the legislature are hoping to pass this, sort of get the credit for voting for it, and then sort of
No. Let's clarify.
Oh, yeah.
They're not hoping to get the credit for it. They just don't want the wrath of the Democratic Party or the activists saying you wouldn't vote for it. They're already flyering districts around here saying it's either vote for us or you're with the corporations.
It is the alternative to what the management of the budget said would be the cost to people in the state of California for the Trump care. Believe me, something has to be done for Californians to replace that. These Democrats are getting out in front on that score with the single pay.
Well, you know, what I was going to say there is that, you know, it looks like some folks are banking on the governor vetoing the bill.
Or the state assembly just sort of stopping it in its tracks as well, or slowing it down.
Exactly.
Melissa's got a very good point. It's good to vote for something, but if you have to pay for it, that becomes a whole different issue.
That's right. Then you get the credit for the vote, but you don't actually have to pay the bill.
President Trump's administration is trying to contain escalating questions about Russian ties to his campaign. He's reportedly even looking into setting up a war room to deal with questions about ties between his presidential campaign and Russia. Meanwhile, the president and the first lady returned last night from Sicily, and as soon as they walked from the helicopter to the White House, a reporter fired off a question about his son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner's contact with Russian officials.
Mr. President, is Jared trying to set up a back channel to the Russians?
The president looks at the reporter but doesn't answer, only waves, then continues walking with the First Lady. A White House official says Kushner is, quote, eager to cooperate with any and all inquiries.
And this morning, President Trump took to Twitter, writing, quote, "It is my opinion that many of the leaks coming out of the White House are fabricated lies made up by the fake news media." And in another tweet, he went on to say, quote, "Whenever you see the words sources say in the fake news media and they don't mention names, he's back."
He's back, all right. And it certainly is getting interesting. As a matter of fact, it has all the trappings of a new reality show. You could call it The Person of Interest. It stars the president's son-in-law. So Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown his take on all this.
I think that he is a very nervous individual because they apparently have tracked him in contact post the election with the Russians more often than Michael Flynn. And that's a challenge.
And there's some of those contacts that he didn't disclose when he was filling out his application to get sort of access, secret access. And he's also just generally a mystery, right? I mean, whenever someone does an impression of him, like on Saturday Night Live, he's just quiet, he won't talk, and he's become this sort of symbol, this thing that the public really doesn't have any other touchstone to go off of.
But he's kind of the operational son that Trump always wanted. He's bright and able and can execute. He's married to the favorite daughter. He's got all of the protections. And obviously, he's the last guy before he goes to bed and when he wakes up that Trump talks to.
Well, and I think for a lot of people, they were thinking, maybe hoping that he would be a moderating influence in the White House. But now, come to find out, he's one of the people who was really pushing to hire General Flynn, even though a lot of other people were saying no. And so I think a lot of people are trying to reassess what his influence is in the White House, and it might not be what people previously thought.
Melissa, his influence is absolutely unlimited. Let me assure you, as a father with a daughter, you marry my daughter, and you got your father, me. I'm it, and that's what Trump.
Okay, but at the same time, this is a guy who has said, I will go to Senate, in front of the Senate. I'll go in front of Congress. I'll go with the FBI. I'll cooperate with anybody. Ask me any question. I'll gladly answer it.
And wait, Phil, until he makes good on all those things. Because when he hires the Willie Brown law firm, at that stage of the game, I will do the talking, not him.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting as the show progresses.
I think he should hire the Willie Brown law firm. Frankly, that guy knows what he's doing.
And then some people might consider that an admission of guilt. Okay.